smooth and lovely surface. Sorry lads, it ain't. It's a surface that I suppose helps you, me and everyone watching at home, and the fact that the entertainment value should be high, Mark. It's a horrible ground for defenders. The ball will skip up at them, under the foot, over the foot, across the goal. It's going to be a nightmare to deal with it. Therefore I expect Bournemouth incident and chances. Now whether we get goals depends on the quality of striker. I think we'll all agree that's pretty high.
It is. To the team news, 4 changes for Manchester United. Ronny Johnsen for Henning Berg in the centre of defence. Dennis Irwin injured against Fulham, so Phil Neville is at left back. Roy Keane returns from suspension to keep his ever-present record in the Premiership. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gives way to Jesper Blomqvist. Ryan Giggs, a surprise inclusion on the bench just 2 weeks after his hamstring injury here against Derby.
Very familiar formation. Not a lot new to say about it. 1 or 2 things to watch for. I do think Ronny Johnsen would prefer to Berg because of his pace. Because if they leave any space in here, then watch for Anelka breaking in behind him. Johnsen, I think, the fastest of the 3 centre-backs Alex could have chosen tonight. Ahead of that, it's a solid centre of the park. Button Keane will contest everything. 2 great crosses of the ball, Beckham and Blomqvist. But I quite think Arsenal won't mind too much if those 2 are going that way and arrowing balls across. They'll fancy winning most of them. Yorkie Cole. Yorkie, as he's done and he's brought into his game more and more, will tend to drop off the pace, drop into these areas, and it'll be then can he find Cole from Butler, Keane or Beckham. Wonderful, wonderful 11 will they play tonight.
They are coming here, Arsenal, with Arsene Wenger having to make changes again, coping with suspension and injury, a common problem for him. Let me remind you once more, Petit and Bergkamp are banned tonight. Keown hurt, striving to cope with France at Wembley a week ago, and Gard a casualty in the FA Cup on Saturday, though he is on the bench. But Tony Adams and Nicolas Anelka, who sat out the extraordinary events at Highbury, both come back into the side, as does Lee Dixon, another England injury victim last Wednesday. Stephen Hughes takes on Petit's part in midfield, and there is a full debut for Nwankwo Kanu after his by now notorious first appearance as a substitute against Sheffield United.
Well, it's not a lot new to say about this system. I just think with Adams and Bold that Andy Cole will fancy getting in behind him with his pace. Martin Keown, like Johnsen, I think is the faster of the 3 defenders. It could have been here, but not fit to take his place, so that's an area where they're going to have to be careful. Ahead of that, we would always look for Overmars to push forward, and I think he will try and push Gary Neville back that way. But I think in midfield, what we might find, Martin, is happening is that Parla, Vieira and Hughes might just narrow themselves. By that I mean I think Manchester United, the majority of the threat comes through here when Yorkie gets on the ball and they feed little balls in to the edge of the box, and I think they'll try and allow space, if anywhere, in those areas, and then if it is crossed in, and I've said about Blomqvist and Beckham being great crossers of the ball, and if they cross the perfect ball then there's not a lot you can do, but 9 times out of 10 any ball coming in from there you would expect Adams and Ball to win it, so that might be a little tactical thing to look for. Ahead of that, Anelka's pacing. Well, people talk about Kano being in for Overmars. If you've won a European Cup winners medal at a tender age, then you cannot be a bad player. This lad's a good player. I wonder if we'll see the best of him tonight.
And it does give the option of height, which of course Arsenal haven't had since they sold John Hartson.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Alan Smith.
Well, this is one of a number of league games being played tonight that could not be played last Saturday because of the clash with the 5th round of the FA Cup. Well, I'm sure many of the Arsenal fans were here 11 months ago, and they went home happy then, and Manchester United had to collectively take it on the chin. Ended their season empty-handed, having reached this stage of it in pretty good shape. Their start to 1999 has been blistering, those 8 straight wins, and their most recent in the league by 8 goals to 1. Arsenal, Well, they're not far behind in terms of form, and no one has put a Premiership goal past them since Christmas. That's extraordinary.
Well, it just shows you there's more than one way to skin a cat, isn't it? You've got the two classic contrasts. Flamboyant goal scoring Manchester United, beautifully and wonderfully organised defensive unit of Arsenal with a cutting edge of an Elka, Bergkamp or Overmars to get them that important goal.
Well, looking back on last season, this clearly was the fixture that turned the League Championship Arsenal's way. It was their most important victory, earned by their very first goal in 6 visits to Old Trafford since the start of the Premiership. And Marc Overmars was the man who got it. He preferred to be reminded about that rather than the goal that he got on Saturday. A goal that does stand in records. It's the result that's been declared null and void. All the appearance statistics count. And it also counts as a match in Manu Petit's period of suspension. Well, the meeting this season has come a month earlier than last season. The consistency of Chelsea is also clouding the issue. Aston Villa still not out of the equation. Yet you do still sense the same significance. Manchester United and Arsenal both in stupendous form. And each can point to 6 wins and a draw in their last 7 Premiership games. So coming up, a colossal contest in the Premiership power game. The champions, who took the title from Old Trafford, are back at Old Trafford tonight. Won't have to say no more than it's Manchester United against Arsenal. It's live after the break.
Scores throughout the night, of course, and we've got our first goal this evening. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has scored for Leeds United at Aston Villa. 8 minutes into that game, Leeds 1-up. We'll keep you up to date with everything that's happening up and down the country. Our live game is at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United and Arsenal. Commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Well, thank you, Richard. Gary Willard certainly putting his stamina to the test tonight on this sticky pitch after refereeing last night's Worthington Cup semi-final at Selhurst Park. The gap, 5 points. Arsenal have a game in hand, but do not have the distraction or the demands of a continuing involvement in Europe. Manchester United to kick off. The team with the best attacking record, not just in the Premiership, but all the major European leagues, in which no club has bettered Manchester United's 59 league goals, or indeed conceded less than Arsenal's 11. Tonight for the slide tackle.
The perfectly timed one, I would say.
So here's Kanu. Dixon. In goes Blomqvist. Looking to use Anelka. Was quite a shrewd cutback. Forward quickly to Dwight York by Nicky Butt. Rain continuing to sheet down this reconstructed pitch midway through the season. Blomqvist. Philip Neville at left back. Dennis Irwin out with a groin injury. Headed out by Tony Adams. Neville. Blomqvist trying to get some real forward service into this nigh-on perfect attacking pair of York and Cole. Kanu. Patrick Vieira. played in the 3-0 win for Arsenal in the Premiership at Highbury back in September. It's his first start in the league for some 4 months tonight. Managed to stay on the side. Looking for Parlour. And he was looking for goal.
Bad one to have though. You're a goalkeeper. It's fairly comfortable in the end, but it was good possession from Arsenal. Took their time, worked it well. The pressure in Parlour's face from Roy Keane was just enough.
Well, 11 months ago it was United who had the team problems when Arsenal came to Manchester.
Obviously looking at Kanu early on, Martin, he's dropped into a deeper position, very much as you'd expect Bergkamp to do. They've left Anelka almost up front on his own. But to be fair, he's got involved in the game, he's had 1 or 2 very good touches so far.
Well, as you said earlier, he's won the European Cup with Ajax as an 18-year-old. He won an Olympic gold medal with Nigeria in Atlanta. He's come through serious heart surgery. Obviously quite a character, and here's Cole in this rich vein of form against the club. He started, of course, his professional career, Andy Cole.
Kind of ball I was talking about, where I expect Adams and Bold to more or less clean up 90% of the time. And that's why I think they might try and keep it tight, very tight centrally.
Arsenal have started very confidently, epitomised by Ray Parlour. I was sure he was tripped by Roy Keane there, as were many in the stadium, but not Gary Willow. Passes beautifully delivered and very well taken by Blomqvist. Not quite so well taken by York. Gary Neville there again. More quickly by Beckett.
It's not a night for defenders to take chances, take liberties.
The calibre of Arsenal summed up by the fact that they had 8 players involved at Wembley a week ago. Dixon, one of those, a fairy tale return for him until he was taken off with that head injury. He's had all the neurological checks necessary to allow him to play again. Just a week later. Started with some of their passing. On a pitch like this, it can be dangerous to play that way, and that part of it.
A little example of Ronnie Johnson's pace. Had a good position on Anelka, a couple of yards deeper than the young Frenchman.
Anelka bouncing off Blomqvist. Free kick to Arsenal. And Dixon with a very imaginative attempt, trying to catch Peter Schmeichel, not concentrating, not on his line.
He was busy organising his defenders, but I think if Lee Dixon could have got a bit more power, Martin, and less height, then the goalkeeper really might have struggled with that. Lovely piece of football from Lee Dixon.
He's clearly recovered from the bang on the head. Peter Schmeichel, who was physical as well as mental pain for the match here last season. You might remember he damaged a hamstring coming up, trying to rescue a point late on in the game. These matches invariably highly charged. You have to say Arsenal's Manchester United have all been pretty decisive. Get 2 3-0 successes this season over the Old Trafford club. Tells you how well Arsenal performed when put to this particular test, but they're being challenged again. Manchester United trying to get their league games ahead of schedule to cope with what they hope will be serious demands over the last few months of the season from the Champions League. But Patrick Vieira coming up with what he thought was a solution, but surely the ball did go behind for the corner.
Well, the linesman certainly thought so. He was round pretty quickly, lost a little bit of control, so again it's an awkward ball. Look, he's got to get his arm out the way quickly, not risking it coming up on it. And I just wondered, did he hook it out in time? I tell you, it's a close call, that. Linesman decided it had gone over.
Here comes the corner. Well, York saw the ball maybe a little bit late. It seemed to just veer away from Vieira.
Well, Vieira gets under it, I think, here. They would be surprised at this. Kanu's on him, Vieira gets underneath it. Kanu really doesn't take Dwight York out of it. Dwight just doesn't get enough on the header. The conditions are awful.
Manchester United's last 5 Premiership games, and in those 5 games there's a tally of 8 goals.
Not bad.
Not bad. But referred to Paul Scholes. And Vieira caught in possession by Beckham. Here's York. Arsenal getting back in sufficient numbers.
Brilliant by Winterburn. What a recovery that was from the fullback. He'd gone and joined in the attack. Vieira lost it. What a sprint he put on to get back in on Dwight York.
Well, it was Hughes who lost it that time. Cole.
Arsenal are taking a chance, Mark, especially in their own third deep. They're trying to pass it about, keep control of the ball, and invite United to put pressure on them. United have pinched it a couple of times, but just haven't put the final touches on it.
He was lucky to get it back. Overmars stopped in his tracks. He was playing it back to Dixon. Strong play by Kanu again, trying to get a pass through for Anelka, and a bit of confusion between Johnson and Schmeichel. Overmars trying to get on the scene, but he wasn't there in time. And a foul by Cole.
Well, that's the pace, isn't it? I mean, Johnson was worried, but he wanted to let it go to his goalkeeper. He wanted a bit of help from Schmeichel. Help did come, but it came a little late. No surprise to see him having a chip at one of his central defenders. Steve Bruce knows all about that. You can see what he's trying to do. Johnson protect it, let his keeper get it. And Anelka wasn't letting it go in there cheaply.
Vieira. Hughes. Overmars. It's behind Anelka. He thought maybe it would run to Dixon. There wasn't much chance of that in truth. Keane, who's been sounding the battle cry over the past couple of days that Arsenal would face the real Reds tonight. Manchester United virtually at full strength. Even the option, a surprising one, that Ryan Giggs might get an involvement. He's done 3 full days of training. So Alec Ferguson said to me, well, why not? Why not have him there in case we need it?
Not a bad option. Along with Scholes and Solskjaer.
Late by Hughes.
Yeah, the referee's got a difficult job tonight when people go to ground, Mark, because of the conditions. When you go to ground, you're not going to stop now. I mean, that could easily have been a book in that. I think the referee might be just taking that into consideration.
Maybe a wry look from Nicky Butt in particular after his red-carded Highbury. Blomqvist. Little touch from York. Back from Beckham. York's there, and Seaman has to drop quickly to keep it out.
Well, I can't believe they were trying to play offside there, Arsenal. The ball's only on the 18-yard line. York gets 2 good touches on this. That's the first one. And then he just makes a little diagonal run in. They look to play offside, but Patrick Vieira's 2 yards deeper than anyone else.
Fired forward by Keane to the feet of Cole. Just appeared once for Arsenal in the league back in 1990, and ironically, given the nature of Saturday's events, it was a match at Highbury against Sheffield United. That particular escapade, I think, with a great deal of credit. Our fears in football, it might set a dangerous precedent, but I'm sure people will regard it as a one-off. Nicely played by Butt, taken on by Gary Neville. Still Gary Neville. Away by Adams. Winterburn making it a bit awkward for Bold. Bold is there again. Vieira not happy about the way he was caught as he played the ball forward. The referee's still having a word with him. Vieira now concentrating on trying to get the ball back for Arsenal, and he's forced a mistake out of Philip Neville. To each other, and I think Vieira was maybe thinking about letting Keane know that he's about.
I think they both know. Messi's received and understood. I think some Messi's to both of them. It's just settling now the game. I think it was a bright start. It was a little bit open. Arsenal started well, positively. Manchester United had a couple of half openings that they might have taken. Just beginning to settle now. The conditions are absolutely horrendous. The wind is whipping round. Rain is belting down.
Adams. Kanu turning into trouble in the shape of Stapp. Cole getting York out of the way and putting it on for Beckham. And he's very angry with himself, recognising the promise of the position that he couldn't come up with a better cross than that.
Great break. I think this sets up for him. I think he's a little unlucky, Mark. I wouldn't have expected David Beckham sprints past Winterburn. I think he just sat up just as he hit it, just catches him above the ankle. That's why he had no control, but it was a good break. And I think that's what you're going to find. You notice that York and Cole were picking up the ball deep. I think Adams and Bold are saying, well, we'll allow you to have it there, but we ain't going to allow you to get in behind us too often.
Manchester United, 10 games unbeaten, 9 wins and a draw. Mark Ferguson, manager of the month for January. February's not going too badly either. Vieira, knocked out by Butt. Vieira again, trying to get it beyond Gary Neville. He's got it to Mark Overmars.
What a chance. It's an awkward height, I'll give him that. But it was a brilliant ball in from Vieira, first time. And Anelka may be offside in the centre, but Overmars certainly isn't. He got a little bit close to the ball. Right at the end, when it skips up, you see he's a little close, he's a little cramped, and he tries to volley it. But I tell you, corner of the 6-yard box, free volley, you've got to put that down as a chance.
Kanu, blocked off by Jonsson.
Got a lovely touch, the big lad. I'll say that for him, Mark. I mean, it's stupid for me to even think he wouldn't have the quality that he's played at.
It's been a remarkable recovery from open heart surgery to play again. Dixon. Good touch by Anelka. Just unhinged Manchester United momentarily. His first appearance since he shot down England at Wembley. He's rested on Saturday against Sheffield United, as was Adams. York. Vieira. Keane closing in, but Vieira used the power of the pass.
Anything big from Kanu there. Anything in the air over Gary Neville was a ball.
Here's York. Beckham trying to just work it a little wider to get in an early cross. Cole's done very well to find Dwight York.
Brilliant hounding, wasn't it?
By Vieira, who's making an impression already, despite the absence of his great French midfield pal, Manu Petit.
Well, I just think there are two Arsenal players who have got huge responsibility tonight, and that's Vieira without his mate, and Elke without his partner up front.
Blomqvist. But York able to turn, the shot strikes bold, spins away to Gary Neville. But challenged by Vieira, ruled to be unfair.
Such in the length of his arms and legs, Mark, that he does look ungainly at times when he goes into those kind of tackles. I think he probably gets free kicks against them more than he really deserves. But this is an interesting one. It's maybe a little bit further out. There's no wall, which I'm really surprised at with David Beckham over the ball. We've talked about the conditions. If David can get this up and down, even bouncing or testing the goalkeeper, the ball might just feel like a bar of soap to David Seaman. I'd be following this in.
Beckham's not scored in his last 17 games for Manchester United. Doesn't take into account the number that he's made for the likes of Cole and York, but he would hope to have a better return. That's the 4 he's got this season, and 3 of those have been from free kicks.
Well, he's better than that, isn't he? I mean, he's better than his tally tells you at the moment. With his ability to shoot from distance, you would expect. But I do think you're right. I think he's probably played wider this season than at any other time, and maybe his supply has been absolutely superb. And he's probably created more than he's scored by a mile.
Better of Cole, Dixon, now Parlour. Philip Neville's headed into a dangerous area, seized on by Vieira. Overmars, his fellow countryman Stan was too strong for him. Arsenal have got it back again. Stop play here.
He got caught in the face.
Stephen Hughes.
I think it was Roy Keane who went over the top of him, getting involved in the tackle. Don't know whether he got caught by a trailing foot. All happens very quickly as he goes to ground here, and the ball breaks, and well, there's a trailing leg as he's getting up, catches him in the head.
Me for the first 20 minutes is how the two sides are trying to win this game by footballing means. There's a lot of intensity in the rivalry, some fierce characters involved. Even the managers have exchanged well, angry statements in the past. Just the first hint really of something a bit untoward. Stephen Hughes slow to get to his feet. And we'd like to keep you up to date with the live football coming up on Sky Sports. Barcelona against Valencia, that's a cup tie in Spain, I believe. Sky Sports 1 Thursday at 8:30, that's live. And Steve Bruce's Sheffield United against the very impressive Bradford City this season, a Yorkshire derby. Sky Sports 2, Friday at 7. Points of the etiquette now.
Well, I have to say, almost doesn't start bordering on the ridiculous, Mark. I mean, that was a drop ball on the halfway line. I mean, you could quite and the referee blew. You could quite easily have contested that, both teams. I don't think we had a problem with that.
Around the world are being seen to be doing the right thing, Andy.
Contesting a football match is the right thing as well.
Correct. Put out by Bold. How grateful Arsenal are still to have his services. They've given him a contract for next season as well. Martin Keown's been so impressive this season. It's Steve Bold back in harness with Adams, with that hamstring injury, and serving his country in difficult circumstances caused by this fault last Wednesday. Kanu.
Parlour. Half a chance, Mark. You know, if Parlour could have gotten that in, Kanu had attracted both Stam and Jonsson. There's a little bit of skill, and Anelka really had gotten himself free just about penalty spot.
Vieira finding some space. Hughes got a foot to it, so too did Philip Neville for Manchester United. Blomqvist. Adams are having problems with the bounce, and with Cole, but problems will be solved with the quality that one expects from the Arsenal captain. Great play.
Good starting position, that was it. 5 yards deeper than Andy Cole.
Parlour picked out by Overmars. Hughes. Overmars was on a dart then, and Hughes didn't spot it. But inside Gary Neville, who now challenges. Vieira on one of the more obvious trips, and again the referee not being too picky about producing a yellow card. Vieira shook the hand of York as he went past.
I think he's on a ban as well, isn't he, Mark? Yeah. Is he one on 4 cards, 4 yellow cards?
Yes, yeah.
Looking tonight, they no sooner get Petit back than Vieira's out.
Well, how rarely Arsenal have put out their best 11. Alex Ferguson saying before the game, Arsene Wenger knows what his best 11 is. I think we all know what that best 11 is. West Ham cop for it.
Yeah.
Weekend before last. For the most part this season, it's a need for shuffle and reshuffle from the Arsenal manager. But whoever he's put out has usually been up to the job, and I think it's fair to say he's strengthened the squad during the course of this season. Talk to Manchester United and they will tell you they are as well equipped as they can ever remember to deal with the difficulties posed by the occupational hazards of injury and suspension. But the worst ball from Philip Neville. Cole anticipating and chasing to good effect. Still Andy Cole. Seaman spilt it. Arsenal wanting to play their way out of their own penalty area, and they've been able to do it to some extent, but back comes Beckham and Keane. Blomqvist charged down by Vieira. Charged into was Parlour by Keane.
He's a little unlucky. Free kick's been given, but that's the best piece of football, best piece of action of the match, and it's because Andy Cole did get in behind. Steve Bold lets him get turned and goes at him. I talked about the ball being slippery, and David Seaman has all sorts of trouble dealing with it. He's fortunate that it's Tony Adams and not someone in a red jersey waiting on the edge of the 6-yard box. I thought Steve Bold had just kept Andy Cole with his back to goal and eased him out towards the touchline. They allowed Andy to get turned, and that really gave him a problem.
Hughes, but he's given it straight to the younger Neville. Time here for Adams. David Seaman, of course, didn't play in Arsenal's win here last season. Alex Manninger did a splendid job. Blomqvist. Come out. Alex Manninger, who had a vital role at a crucial time in Arsenal's season. David Seaman remains the senior man. too eager then. Lost some of the accuracy, but Keane got back to challenge Kanu. Brought out by Ronnie Johnson, but it's not an easy pitch on which to wait a pass properly. But there's Overmars almost showing that it can be done for Anelka.
Great run from Anelka. I tell you, that was good goalkeeping. If Peter Schmeichel's not out of this, Mark, then Anelka's through. He's got behind Jaap Stam, and the big Dutchman was requiring his goalkeeper to rescue him there, and he did.
It's not so good from Overmars though. Blomqvist. York. Narrow in that attack, Manchester United. Just to go back to Anelka and Stam, of course, Stam made his Manchester United debut at Wembley in the Charity Shield, and Anelka gave him a harrowing time. And what's happened since then, really, is that Jaap Stam has proved himself to be a capable competitor at this level. Roy Keane is certainly that. On goes Keane, and Seaman gets it away and behind for the corner.
Brilliant save. Absolutely top draw. The football, the save. Roy Keane, the little nutmegs there, that was brilliant, and he looks to side foot it, and the bounce just in front of David Seaman makes this a horrible save, but he gets his arm out, rigid, strong enough to knock it wide.
Here comes the Manchester United corner. In goes Johnson, well defended by Vieira for Arsenal. Beckham to hoist it in again. Stam is up, but Adams made sure he didn't make contact. Still in play with Blomqvist. Beckham trying to get his head to the ball. Down goes Ronnie Johnson. Penalty for Manchester United in the 29th minute. Ray Parlour.
I'm not too sure how much contact there was here. Well, he pays your money and takes your chances. The right foot comes up, gets pulled away. I don't think Parlour makes an attempt to tackle Ronnie Johnson there. The referee's almost the whole length of the 18-yard box away. I think he's a little unlucky, Ray Parlour.
Now Dennis Irwin is the penalty taker for Manchester United, but he is not playing. The responsibility passes to Dwight York, who at the end of last season scored a penalty for Aston Villa past David Seaman in very casual manner. Well, there's nothing to be casual about here. A vital penalty kick, and York has missed it.
Well, Arsenal are still furious, and I've said before, Ray Parlour's getting booked now, Mark. But I didn't think he made an awful lot of contact. I've got a theory about when you do that, you open a penalty and you run straight at it, Mark, is to try and open yourself out when you run straight at the ball and put it in the opposite corner. It's unnatural in many ways. I can remember talking to Dwight about that a few times, but such is his confidence that he can open his body out and get it in that corner. I think it's unnatural, it's uncomfortable. If you run at an angle, then you can put it in either corner quite comfortably.
Parlour booked, but Dwight York, who's hardly missed a chance for Manchester United since coming here from Aston Villa, has missed a penalty. Winterburn. And Kanu get there first. Johnson just been bundled over at one end, having to make sure he wasn't going to be a culprit in the other penalty area. Stam drops to Parlour. Manchester United claim handball. Adams header. Again, Manchester United yell for handball against Vieira this time, but Blomqvist went in with a challenge that was very snappy indeed. Beckham looking for the early cross. Cole, great movement from him. Another terrific stop by Seaman.
Wow, this game really is lifting up now, Martin. Last 10 minutes have been super.
And here goes Anelka. And Schmeichel has seen the danger again.
Well, David Seaman has just shown us in 5 minutes why Alex Meninga's sitting on the bench. Two wonderful saves from the England #1. But that was wonderful play again talked about this front two and Andy Cole's touch and strike. Well, you couldn't fault what he did.
Parlour comes back to him by Johnson, Vieira, and he was caught by York, who's probably still feeling aggrieved about the penalty miss, and now he's got more to be concerned about. He thinks Vieira made a meal of it, but Gary Willard showed Dwight York the yellow card.
Well, it's David Seaman who's keeping this game at 0-0, and Andy Cole just gets a touch before Steve Bold. That's all it needs. It's set, it's ready to hit. But that's a great spread from the England goalkeeper. Didn't go down early, made himself big, kept himself big.
Well, there's yet another head coach for David Seaman to prove himself to now, isn't there?
Well, he quite has to prove himself. Suddenly Manchester United have upped the tempo a little bit, Mark. Let me ask one or two questions. Parlour should be in front. Rather underneath that, Parlour. Not the happiest half an hour or so for Dwight York, for whom so much has gone swimmingly since his move here from Villa Park. Blomqvist. Just over 10 minutes left in the first half. Beckham staying very wide on the far side, and Gary Neville being asked to go wide by Butt's pass. With the free kick. He's planted it straight to Blomqvist. Cole looking for York. The credit behind him. Hughes. Over Martinelka on the move again. As is Dixon to the right of Parlour. And Lee Dixon was very astute then. He kept his body between Blomqvist and the ball, and the outcome, a tidy challenge by the Swede, and a free kick to Arsenal in a reasonable position here. Reasonable enough for Bold and Adams to go forward. This is a combination to open the scoring at Highbury. Stephen Hughes was playing that day, fizzed in a free kick from this sort of area, left-footed. Tony Adams was all over Jaap Stam and nodded Arsenal into the lead.
Comes towards Adams, in goes Anelka, and Schmeichel was out. The flag had gone up. Different sort of routine from Arsenal.
Yeah, almost dropped to him, the back post. He didn't go in and attack this one, Tony Adams. Looking to hook it, you can see Nicholas Anelka always looking to pray in anything that drops down, but just a yard offside.
Stam. For Kanu. Hughes. Good triangle for Arsenal. Some support from Nigel Winterburn. And making sure that Blomqvist didn't get away. Kanu. Test of his match fitness, that's for sure.
Well, he'll be alright so far, because I've yet to see him sprint, Mark. I just want to see how quick he is, but he's got such a lazy style. I really couldn't tell you.
So had to wait 3 weeks for his work permit. He wasn't even allowed to train with them at that time. He wasn't allowed in the country, so he was based in Holland.
sure
doing some training there.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd been training quite hard, but it's never the same as this sort of thing. A real gluey pitch.
York. Gary Neville. Can Steve Bold do a bit of work facing his own goal?
That's a bad ball, not one that was played in behind Steve Bold, getting centre-backs turned towards their own goal. A night like this.
Coming. Contest here between the man in form, Anelka, and Stanwell. Of course, he's in form as well.
Yeah, he might be quicker than Anelka, but there's no doubt where the strength lies. I mean, he really is a powerhouse. Jaap Stam.
It up by some anxious Manchester United support. Keane cropping up on the right-hand side. York, lovely run from Gary Neville. And, a bad cross in the circumstances, although in the end there's no real chance for Manchester United to challenge David Seaman. Gary Neville has a birthday tomorrow, he'll be 24. Way to celebrate it, wasn't it? 3 points the night before against Arsenal. Keane. Doesn't fly in behind him with the ball. Beckham. Beckham with a chance to pull a string or two for Manchester United again here. Blomqvist keep it in, he can't.
Once it hit the ground, it was always skipping away from him.
Manchester United haven't beaten any of the other three in the top 4 yet. They've drawn twice with Chelsea, also drawn at Aston Villa. Would like me to point out that they lost at Highbury.
Well, it's going to be a tighter race, Mark, and we all think it is, and it's those kind of stats that often go against you. Normally the team that wins the title has done quite well, or pretty well, against its nearest challengers.
That's what let Chelsea down last year, wasn't it, after a good 2/3 of the season. York. A bit of a debt to repay. At the back. He's got to dig out a kick here. Can't get too much distance to it, but it's helped on by Parlour. Keane. Dumped down by Ray Parlour, who has been booked. York blocked off by Winterburn. Gary Willard penalised in the end. The Arsenal left back is laying down the law to the midfield man, who hasn't got much margin for further disciplinary error.
No, I mean, I didn't think there was much in it. He just comes in a little late on Roy Keane. But when you've been booked, you have taken your life in your hands.
Beckham with a free kick, and it's not a good one. Dealt with by Dixon. Stride of Hughes.
It's so funny, he just rolls it and just jogs after it. Can't do. You know, often players will pop it off and then you'll see them sprint 5 or 10 yards. I don't know whether that's, I haven't seen enough of him to say that is his style. And whether there's more to come in sprinting department.
Languid in his movements. It's a bit more abrupt by Beckham.
Well, that could easily have been a booking, there's no doubt about that.
kick. Catching Kanu offside. Of course, he could have been playing here a little bit later in the year if he'd stayed in Italy with Inter, Manchester United's opponents in the Champions League quarter-final. And it's always the question mark, I suppose, Andy, from our perspective about Manchester United. They've had this gap from European involvement. Their results have been impeccable. What will happen when the focus is put back on the continental scene?
Well, we shall find that out in match of third. First leg here against Inter Milan.
I think Ferguson who would love to get that particular trophy, the European Cup, in old money.
I think they could have won it, Martin. I think they've been good enough to have won it in the past. I think they've been a little unfortunate.
Dixon. Nicely done against Ronnie Johnson. Overmars. Not happy to get it forward from Manchester United. Adams knew exactly what he was going to do with it before the ball arrived. Switch it to Winterberg. But he was pressed by Beckham. Good closing down.
That's been a feature of the game. I think the closing down of both teams really has been top class.
York. Hughes. Winterburn just stretching there, and I'm not sure that he's fully fit.
Well, we'll certainly try and keep him on until half-time, Mark. Only a couple of minutes to go. A minute plus stoppage time, in fact. Well, it's been a half that I think it's gone the way I thought it would. Manchester United have been the more prominent side, attacking-wise. We would have expected that. Arsenal have defended it deep and with numbers. But it has to be said that, but for two great saves and a missed penalty, Alex Ferguson's side probably deservedly would be up by now.
Vieira. Kanu. Not too leisurely that time. York. Right, York getting it back to Beckham. Now Keane. Blomqvist.
Again, excellent pressure, forcing Manchester United back.
Keane. Seeing that 2 minutes signalled as the time to be added on before half-time. Just thinking back, Andy, we often say dependable Dennis Irwin. I don't think he's ever missed on the spot for Manchester United, certainly not in regulation time. Not available to take that penalty.
I have to say, I don't remember Yorkie missing too many, Mark.
I'll tell you one he missed against Shaka Hislop, we referred to not too long ago, of course, the
Newcastle
lads from the West Indies. It's Aston Villa against Newcastle at Villa Park.
How could you say no when he's in such form about taking a penalty? You couldn't really, could you?
And it was a job given to him, I understand, before the game. It wasn't just a reaction on the night. Parlour. Dixon. Kanu. And he made a little bit of room for himself. That was quickly cut down by the determination of Stam.
Good movement. This was better from Kanu. Rolled it off his foot. He put some speed into that, but it's been typical of Jaap Stam over the last few months. Solid defending.
Well, we're deep into stoppage time before half-time at Old Trafford. Stephen Hughes takes the corner. Stam heads it away. Cole comes to collect it. He's got a runner infield, and it's Roy Keane. Breaks back Andy Cole's way. Rather flagging Nigel Winterburn gets a foot in. York. Not go it alone. He's got a runner at Cole, and they've left Jesper Blomqvist. Well, Beckham trying to keep it in play, and he'll do that. The moment might not be lost for Manchester United. Out comes Seaman with the fist. And we have reached half-time. No goals, but Dwight York cursing the fact that it's no goals, because he had the opportunity to score when Gary Willard said penalty. Ray Parlour colliding with Ronnie Johnson, but York taking on the duties, couldn't keep his wonderful run of goal scoring going, and at the break at Old Trafford it is Manchester United 0, Arsenal 0.
Old Trafford tonight, and 5 live games over the next 4 days. Barcelona and Valencia from the Spanish Cup tomorrow at 8:30 here on One. Then it's Steve Bruce and Sheffield United against Bradford at 7 o'clock on Sky Sports 2 Friday night. Birmingham and Bolton Sunday at midday on Sky Sports 2. Super Sunday takes us to Selhurst Park for Wimbledon and Aston Villa, and that's followed on Sky Sports 1 by Motherwell and Celtic from the Scottish Premier League. 5 live games in 4 days. Well, at a half-time without conceding, Arsenal, but how? 8 attempts from United, 5 on target. Only 3 corners between them all night. Dwight York has missed a penalty. York and Parlour, 2 players booked. United have dominated action areas and the possession. Former United skipper Steve Bruce and the former Arsenal striker Alan Smith are with us here tonight. I'm quite sure the debate is raged wherever you are. It has here in the studio. Was it or wasn't it? In the end it didn't matter too much, but for you, Alan, it wasn't, was it?
It wasn't, no. I mean, putting bias aside, I just thought, obviously Ray Parlour committed himself, then he pulled out, and I just thought they brushed thighs, and Johnson obviously knew that, and he went down. He's obviously gone in there, but I really don't think that's a penalty.
Steve did think it was a penalty.
There's a shocker.
Yeah.
I think what he's done, Ray, is he's gone and he realises what he's doing. He sort of puts his right leg there and tries to get it back, but there is contact, and it doesn't make any difference anyway. He's missed it, does he?
I think the last 2 of these fronted each other up. York and Seaman was in that game at the end of last season, was it? Villa against Arsenal, and he chipped him then, didn't he?
He dinked it, yeah, although there wasn't a lot of pressure on that day, was there? That's something forwards always think about. They always think about perhaps the last time they faced the keeper with a penalty, but unlike York to actually miss the target, so...
It's amazing what the game isn't about, isn't it? We're talking about how deadly he's been, how great he's been, and then from 12 yards he misses a penalty. And it's quite ironic when you see Stephen, he does stand in the middle of his goal thinking, well, you're not going to do that to me again.
Yeah, he makes the striker make a decision, doesn't he? 2
magnificent saves from David Seaman have also kept, or helped keep Arsenal in this. Roy Keane, first of all, storming through, Stephen. You thought he'd scored when he got to here, didn't you?
Well, for me, he's been the outstanding player on the pitch so far. He's covered every blade of grass, and this is typical of him at his best. Gets it back, the determination, little nutmegs, and you would fancy him then because he's a good finisher. But David Seaman's produced 2 wonderful saves. That was the first one.
Keeper's kept you in it, Alan.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we had the other one off Andy Cole. He just stays big, you know, all the time. I mean, Andy did brilliant here to... this wasn't the actual very good save, but I mean that's tricky because on that surface in the goal mouth, just lucky that it went out to Tony Adams. Not many United players in the box there, and if there were, they could have scored.
It just seemed happy, Arsenal, with their 0-0, don't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, going forward, they haven't offered too much. You look for Anelka maybe to do things on his own. He's not a player that can play up front on his own. Kanu is clearly struggling with his fitness. He's obviously played in a deeper role. Wouldn't be surprised to see him off at half-time, and perhaps Nelson Vivas. I think he's been warming up down there, or maybe Remy Gard to bolster the midfield and leave Anelka up on his own.
Scores elsewhere tonight. It's a big night in the Premiership, of course. Villa 2 down to Leeds United now. That's a latest score. Chelsea are beating Blackburn Rovers. Jody Morris has scored for them, the first Englishman to score a league goal for Chelsea this season. 2 from Nicky Barmby separate Everton and Middlesbrough. Noel Whelan scored Coventry's first at St James's Park after 18 minutes, his first in 10 years. Newcastle United equalised a minute later through Alan Shearer, so it's 1-1 there. Highlights from the other game that's taking place tonight, that's live on Sky Sports 2 right now. Leicester and Sunderland. When we finished here tonight with Manchester United and Arsenal, it is goalless as we stand in the rain. We're back with the second half next. Alan Smith and Steve Bruce are with us tonight. Only one player has scored more goals from the penalty spot for Manchester United than Steve Bruce, and it was Steve. He's been driving me mad for 45 minutes.
You've got to look it up now. You've got to look it up.
We've got to look it up, have we?
Yeah.
How far back are we going?
I think it's Albert Quixel.
Ah.
Albert. No, can you confirm? I just got a letter the other day, so we talk.
Goalless here, and for the most part, Arsenal have their goalkeeper to thank for that, David Seaman, who doesn't have to do a lot most weeks, Alan.
No.
Isn't spectacular.
No, he's having to do a bit tonight.
But he's done well tonight.
As good as that defence are, you know, Coley and York are on top form again. Lovely turn by Coley. And he's kept it low and hard and asked questions of Dave, and he's answered them.
Yeah, terrific goalkeeper.
Great goalkeeper.
Great goalkeeper. When you see him stand up there for so long, he made himself so big. He could have got in the face or anywhere, couldn't he?
I mean, you wonder how long, if United keep going like this, how long David will be able to keep them out, because they look like the unstoppable force tonight.
Yeah, 3-1 Newcastle United, by the way.
I'd hate you to say that, doesn't it, Richard? I can just see
some hesitation in my voice.
I've got my own back now, haven't I? I can just see the petted lip there on there, sir.
They haven't found a breakthrough, Manchester United. No. You get to this stage and you wonder, is it going to be one of those nights?
Well, you certainly look in big games, don't you, that they've had really 2-3 really great opportunities. Usually in the big games you don't get many more, so they'll be a little bit anxious about that, but I think the way they're playing and the way the conditions are, then I think there is chances out there.
Chelsea, remember, are beating Blackburn by 1-0. Jody Morris the scorer. Villa are trailing at home by 2-0 to Leeds United. Hasselbank has got a couple there. Those plastic hoods and Macs have been in big demand in that far corner. Scoreboard end at Old Trafford. The wind and the rain has been swirling around all night, and it's very wet over there. That's why they're needed. So a draw here tonight might suit Arsenal. It will not Manchester United, Steve, will it?
Well, if you look at it, I was just saying, you know, if you look at United, if they beat Arsenal, they'll go 7 points clear of them. 8 if you include the goal difference. That's a hell of a lot to make up. You know, that means Arsenal have got to win 3 more games than United. So it's imperative that Arsenal don't lose.
Can they hang on, Alan?
Well, they can. I see Kanu's still on. I think he might give them another 10 minutes. But, I mean, they can hang on. If they do hang on tonight, they're going to count themselves very lucky. I think going forward, they need to show a little bit more ambition, supporting Anelka when it goes up there. Otherwise, they're just going to have to rely on a breakaway. But certainly they will be very happy with the point tonight, I would think.
Highlights, remember, from Filbert Street, Leicester and Sunderland, the second leg of that Worthington Cup semi when we're finished here tonight. Right now, let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Richard, you mentioned Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and his 2 goals tonight for Leeds. Well, Hasselbank was the last player to score a Premiership goal against Arsenal, and that was on the Sunday before Christmas. Dwight York should have done it tonight, but put his penalty wide, and Manchester United still have to do something to get the better of David Seaman, who has made 2 tremendous saves. And in front of him is a defence that still includes Nigel Winterburn.
Yeah, I think that's important. He knows how that back 4 work. And I think Arsene Wenger wants him to stay on as long as possible.
Away we go for the second half. No relenting in the weather. Intensity of this match. Philip No. Up again with Roy Keane. Blomqvist back with the subtlety to get the cross in. Neville changing the angle for his ball in, which almost caught Arsenal out. David Seaman coming to grasp a very greasy football.
It's awkward, I talked about the wind, but that was pretty much bread and butter for David.
Averaging Neville to cross it with his right foot. That was a change of direction, just kind of a slightly more promising angle. Forward by Parlour. Hughes. Overmars. Fouled by Blomqvist.
He didn't think so, Jesper Blomqvist. Again, the pressure's excellent, Martin, but he just catches him. I didn't think there was much contact.
Overmars. Now Kanu. Just giving it back to Arsenal though. Vieira. Nelka. Knocked away by Philip Neville. Taken on the turn by Parlour. Positive work from him. Kanu. That's brilliantly played by the Nigerian. A goal for Nicholas Anelka. But Kanu is being congratulated as well. Anelka steered it into the net. And Arsenal lead at Old Trafford.
This is a wonderful goal, Martin, and you're right, Anelka's getting it for the finish, but maybe this is why they've signed Kanu. That's a brilliant ball to Ray Parlour, and he got himself into a lovely position, but look at the way he kids on Stamp. He's passed him. It's a magnificent block. I think it's Phil Neville who's had to come all the way across and block it. He gets the block in there, but what happens when you need a bit of luck, you don't have it. Well, in the end, it's a simple tap-in for Anelka. Well, that's a smashing grab, isn't it? Game on now.
Well, Kanu, suddenly, almost as if he'd been kidding Manchester United through the first half, without a real trick or a change of pace.
I was just about to say how he'd lost the chance, Martin, but instead of taking it with his left foot where it was open to him, he actually waited and tried to hit it with his obviously stronger right. He lost the chance, but when you need a bit of good fortune, my goodness, it was there.
Dixon. Parlour. Construed as handball, but not against Philip Neville. But Nicholas Anelka has started 4 games for Arsenal against Manchester United and scored in each of them.
Well, he's fed on scraps tonight, Anelka, but full marks for him. He was ready for it. When the chance came along, Martin, he was alive. I also thought at the edge of the box, Ronnie Johnsen just seems to go to sleep. He seems to let things happen. Because he stood there as this all happens, the ball breaks. You see Ronnie Johnsen at the edge of the box, he reacts so late. Not aware of Anelka's position, and as soon as Anelka got it into the air, as long as he didn't put it over the bar, it was always going in.
When this match was played last season, it was Nicholas Anelka's 19th birthday, and he wasn't picked on his birthday to play from the start. He did come on with a substitute, and he was on when Mark Overmars won the game.
He flicked the ball through the header, if I'm not mistaken.
But he's really come of age, we feel now. Manchester United, can they come good? York, that's a corner.
Great deflection that, you know, for Arsenal, because this might well have been testing David Seaman again. I think this is heading for the far corner. How close it's going to be, I'm not sure. But once he opens up in his left here, that's a big touch by Tony Adams. Because David Seaman's going to have to work to keep that out.
Very keen to attack this one. So too did Steve Bold. It's Bold who doesn't just kick it forward, he passes it out for Parlour. Gary Neville buying Manchester United a bit of time, and in fact quite a lot of time. He's forced Parlour to knock it out of play.
Well, I just wonder how long we wait now. I have noticed in big games like this with the Arsenal manager, his team get up in a big game, Martin, quite often early, even early in the second half. He's not shy in bringing on a midfield player, a real midfield player, taking off one of the front two, it's inevitably been Anelka, and shoring it up.
Well, Manchester United give it away to Adams, and the flag has gone up against Anelka, and Manchester United mightily relieved that it did.
Well, they held the line well, I have to give them that, United here. Oh, it's a very tight one, but I think that's one of those you get, some you don't. I think one of the amazing stats for me at half-time, I said Arsenal would play deep, Martin, but Manchester United haven't been caught offside yet in this match. That shows you how deep they're prepared to play.
It's a real lunge by Adams. It's been seen as a foul, it's just a throw for United.
Quite right, brilliantly timed tackle.
We've seen them behind here. Oh, that's now Keane, who has got to be sorted out here by Gary Willard, who's just letting the players have their say and backing off, and he'll summon Roy Keane across.
Well, there might well be two bookings here. Keane will certainly get booked for hauling Vieira back. I don't think there's a doubt about that. Blatant foul. Then Vieira's arms do come up, he's frustrated because he knows he's away from Keane. That was always going to be the flashpoint, Vieira and Keane. Well, that's a suspension for the Frenchman, we talked about it first half. You see Roy Keane hauling away, kicking away. Nah, I think it's nothing. Handbags this. A booking for both is right.
As you say, Andy, it is a suspension for Vieira. His fifth yellow card of the season.
I would suggest to viewers to don't go and make a cup of tea just yet.
Winterburn.
This game could take off.
United were behind here to Liverpool, of course, and came very late on. That was in the FA Cup.
And Liverpool don't boast the kind of defence that they're playing against tonight, Martin, with greatest respect. I have to say the back four have been impressive yet again. Bold has been immense as a replacement for Martin Keown. But he's been given an extended contract.
Dixon.
I think Manchester United just got to be a little careful, Martin. There is plenty of time, only 55 minutes gone in this match. I just think Alex's side have just got to settle down, get back to playing again. They created a few chances first half. They just look a little agitated at the moment.
Vieira, Kanu, not so sure what to expect from him now. Anelka, Vieira, the best sort of service to Overmars in the air. Hughes, Anelka. Overmars backing off just to try and give Hughes a bit of space to work in. Winterburn. Very confident Arsenal now. I do think they've radiated that right from the start of the game. They are the defending champions, but there front by Anelka's goal, his 11th of the season. Arsenal's leading scorer. Here he is on the ball again. He's looking for Kanu. Flag went up and came back down again. It goes up again.
Well, that would have been interesting, wouldn't it? The ball played through first time. You're absolutely right. The flag was halfway up and down it came pretty quickly. Would have been interesting to see what would have happened here as he breaks. Anelka, I wondered if he'd gone his own. Kanu, well, drifted offside, or did he? It was very tight again. But the second time, there's no doubt he's offside.
For Overmars, but along the right lines Arsenal will feel, trying to get him moving through the centre from his starting position on the left. Headed by Bold, connected by Beckham. To get something from this game, Manchester United have got to do something that no Premiership team has managed this year, and that's get a goal against Arsenal.
It's quite incredible when you look at stats. People were talking up there, they've been saying, who's going to win the championship? And that's not discounting Chelsea. The team that scores all the goals, or the team that concedes fewest? Well, the next couple of months is going to decide that.
There's one of the barriers that Arsenal construct so confidently. It's called Tony Adams. Tyler down. Johnson making contact with him, the two involved in the penalty decision.
Just looking down below me, Martin, there's some activity. Paul Scholes is...
Anelka. It could go either way, in fact, and so the relief of Philip Neville, it's gone his way. Well, Scholes an option. Certain Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the last time he came on as a substitute, he scored 4 goals inside 14 minutes.
Take one of those tonight, wouldn't it?
Anelka, Parlour. Dixon is there if required. He is required. Dixon, Vieira. Anxiety from the home supporters who watch their team being pressed back by some controlled Arsenal passing. United thread it into the feet of Andy Cole. Wonderful challenge by Stephen Hughes. Poor ball by Winterburn. Hughes nicks it back for the Gunners.
Go on, Steve! Go on, Steve!
Oh, and Overmars wanted to take that on the burst and get in behind Stam. Opportunity to do that. Not easy on this surface.
What? Now! Okay, Gary!
Gary Neville. Cole lets it run. Almost telepathic understanding he has with Dwight York. There's no profit in it for Manchester United there. Stam into the back of Kanu. He certainly felt that. Headed forward by Johnson. What's going through Manchester United minds here? They know the value of a victory tonight. Blomqvist, Cole, get the ball out from under his feet in that sticky part of the pitch. It's pretty sticky everywhere. Kanu. Gary Neville, fortunate that deflection took him in between Anelka and Overmars. Beckham, nothing right of him. Philip Neville to the left. Oh, it's Andy Cole with the header, must score, does score. 1-1. Arsenal have cracked for the first time in the league this year, and it's a player who began his professional career at Highbury who's done it. Andy Cole.
Well, I said they would protect us 90% of the time, but Steve Bold, he just gets found out here. He gets caught under the ball. Andy Cole doesn't do an awful lot, but just back away from him. And that's it, because the cross is taken out Bold with its quality from Phil Neville. It really is a quality ball. Well, he's almost saying to Andy, is that good enough? And Andy's just nodded his approval. And Fergie has his equaliser.
And Andy Cole has 100 goals now in the Premiership, the 5th player to reach that tally. And Paul Scholes comes on as Arsenal make a change. Scholes for Blomqvist. And Remy Gard, who's deemed sufficiently fit to last, well, half an hour or so. A move that was being put together by Arsene Wenger when his team was 1-0 in front. He's gone through with it at 1-1.
Yeah, the proper shift Stephen Hughes as he's playing now, Mark, to the left side. And just put over Mars, well, alongside Anelka, or up with Anelka. Well,
Yeah.
the last half hour we've got in this match.
Parlour. Dixon. Could really detect the feeling in the Manchester United camp before the game that they felt that this was a good night to catch Arsenal. Certainly the best part of an hour, that didn't look the case. But maybe now, in the last third of the game, they can go on to complete a comeback here and stretch away from the Gunners in the Premiership this season. Seemed to get as much of Beckham as he did of the ball then. Free kick taken quickly by David Beckham. Andy Cole following Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, Les Ferdinand, and more recently Robbie Fowler into 3 figures since the start of the Premiership in '92. Of course, Cole wasn't a Premiership player in that first season. Examination of Arsenal's competitive spirit, the resilience that brought them here in confident vein, even though it's by no means their strongest side.
No, but even now I get the feeling Arsenal still think they can win the match. But I mean, the substitution was not a negative one. When you have Anelka now and Overmars as 2 front runners, it's certainly not a negative substitution. But United's response since the goal, once they'd cleared their heads a little, has been first class.
York. Adams ruled to have done that intentionally.
Tonight's attendance at Manchester United, 55,171.
Double pegging on the scoreline, just psychologically you feel it's swung Manchester United's way. Dixon has a problem. Cole chasing. And then looking for York. Who else? Parlour. Anelka. Overmars. It's been rather on the periphery of things. Goes inside Gary Neville. Drags his shot well wide of Schmeichel's goal.
He scored from there before. That gives us a chance to look at that header from Andy Cole. When it arrived, it was one of the simple headers he's going to score. The qualities in the ball. Look at Steve Bold, he knows he's got problems. And as long as he put it wide of David Seaman, he felt he must score.
Bold, who seemed to lay hands on Andy Cole. defender. Might just have got off a bit lightly there.
He just gave a little tuck to the ground. The referee obviously felt, I don't think that Andy Cole was going to catch his own header through, so I'll let it go.
Terrific contest being played in dreadful conditions. Hughes. Just a touch or two off the pace at times.
I think he's not a great game, Mark Overmars, tonight, Mark.
Keane. Cole a bit annoyed. He felt that Arsenal were just a little lax. But
by Yorkie, wasn't it? Far side. Couldn't go through them or round them, so he went over them.
Involved again. Crossed by Keane. Tonight, Manchester United have 5 at home and 7 away to play in the Premiership. Liverpool and Leeds always testing amongst those remaining away games, and United have to go to 3 clubs managed by former Old Trafford heroes: Brian Kidd's Blackburn, Brian Robson's Middlesbrough, and this coming Saturday there at Gordon Strachan's Coventry. Vieira. Odegaard. Free kick given against goal. Sky Sports 1 Thursday. Live football from Spain, Barcelona and Valencia. That's the Spanish Cup. Friday night, Sheffield United and Bradford City. Sky Sports 2 at 7. Cole. Adams. And Andy Cole earning the applause there for a good piece of defending. Cross comes Beckham onto the pass from York. Now David Beckham has stayed down. Gary Willard quick to indicate that the game should go on. As it does with Seaman's kick. It's killed by Overmars. Guard. And Lee Dixon needs to Arsenal's new saintly reputation by putting the ball out, so Beckham could get some attention, but Beckham actually didn't need any attention.
That's a problem you've got. You try to be too nice at times.
Manchester United are going to be nice back. Well, reasonably nice. "20 minutes to go. free kick into the feet of York. Adams. And some movement ahead of it. Anelka. He goes crashing down.
Tough one to judge this now. There's a lot of challenges going in. But his work cut out. Gary Willard to get it right. He's done all right though. Apart from a penalty incident, as I say, it was a long way away.
Beckham. Well, there's space between Bold and Adams. Great balance by Cole. It's a corner. Could have been much, much more for Manchester United.
It's the first time that Andy Cole has got in between the two centre-backs, has got through and really tested them. What a ball from Beckham though.
It's Beckham's corner. United's throw. Scholes. Keane back to Scholes again. Cleared by Adams, only as far as Stab. Gary Neville's cross. York letting it run and it nearly got to Andy Cole. Adams just flicked out a foot in time. Keane. Lovely dummy by York. Cole and David Seaman very happy to grasp that. There's sustained spell of pressure for Manchester United.
Yeah, it was first class, Martin. What a little step over. I just think the only thing that's against him is his weaker side, and that shows in the poor quality of the finish. But this was a magnificent ball and run. He thought he'd done everything right, Andy Cole, but Steve Bold gets an absolutely brilliant block on it.
Keane. Beckham. Beautifully tricking Winterburn. Free in the centre for Manchester United. And it was Nicky Butt who was the deepest of that trio.
Well, whether Dixon puts him off, they've just been in front of him, or whether it's a bit too high. I thought when the ball was on its way, Nicky Butt would fancy this to get good support play, sees it come all the way. Well, maybe just the dip in the ball, just took his eye off it a little.
Bit of news from Stamford Bridge. Gianluca Vialli of Chelsea and Marlon Brooms have been sent off for serious foul play. And Winterburn get there for Arsenal. It was vital that he did against Gary Neville. Haven't seen much of Arsenal as an attacking force in the last 15 minutes or so, but they've got Anelka, they've got Overmars, and in some room here they've got Ray Parlour. And that has produced a corner. A little bit of the cohesion that was there plenty in the first hour, but hasn't been in the last quarter of an hour. Since they equalised, Manchester United have really come on strong. But Steve Bowles strides upfield. Hughes with the delivery. Schmeichel read the trajectory. Where it started.
They've just got to sleep a little, Manchester United. Short corners on.
Oh, and Adams didn't quite attack it.
Well, I don't know whether Vieira put him off this time, or whether Stam just had got a grip of Adams, just did enough.
Winterburn, but it breaks Manchester United's way. Gary Neville. nomination 066011223. Please give us a call with your nomination.
That'll be an interesting one from the viewers.
Three categories really: the Manchester United nomination, the Arsenal nomination, and the rest of the country. Now, look at this. This is Alec Ferguson's desire for the extra 2 points here. Ryan Giggs, as I said earlier, has satisfied the manager with 3 days of training. But it is nonetheless surprised that Ryan Giggs is involved tonight. He replaces Nicky Butt. And I'm sure a message along the lines: go on and win it for us, Ryan. Given Ryan Giggs' standard of performance in European games, and that match against Inter is just a couple of weeks away, Alec Ferguson not holding back tonight. Well, he wants to win it when the champions come to Old Trafford. Paul Scholes is in danger of getting what I would call a typical booking for him, because he will put himself about. Ever for anything else but a late tackle. But there have been a good number of those over the last. Certainly can play with the ball, and he picked out Keane with a nice reverse pass then. Also made a change while we were heralding the arrival of Ryan Giggs. The Argentine, Nelson Vivas, for Nigel Winterburn at left back.
Sorry mate, I thought you'd seen that. I was just daydreaming me. I saw him come on and Nigel
I was setting the scene for Ryan Giggs, I'm afraid.
Sorry mate.
Beckham's ball, Ronnie Johnson attacking it. The corner for Manchester United. Just over 10 minutes to go. It won't decide the season. We're still in the middle of February. But psychologically, what a fantastic boost for the side that could win this game. The draw more suited, you feel, to Arsenal's circumstances. Beckham. Squirted through, but not as far as Roy Keane. Bold leading the breakout. Now have they got cover at the back, Arsenal? Dixon, they've got a free kick.
Well, unfortunate. Steve Bold galloping 60 yards forward. What is he doing? 10 minutes to go. They lose the ball. They were a little stretched. Unfortunate to get the free kick.
Him out. Well, 80 minutes that have taken so much, you feel, from the participants on this muddy surface, but maybe not on Anelka.
Well, he got away with that. Ronnie Johnson, Mark. He waited and waited in the ball, whereas Anelka was not waiting. Just like Andy Cole got ahead of Steve Bold first half, and then Anelka couldn't get there in the end.
Here's Cole, he's got York with him, but Andy Cole, with the single-minded approach that all great strikers have to have, it's easy to sit up here and say, well, he could have played York in.
He could have played York in, he could have played Beckham in. Left of the screen, David Beckham is in absolute acres. Yorkie might have drifted offside, I think that might have been it. It was a lovely opportunity for Manchester United to put Arsenal short at the back.
Here's Anelka though, and Hughes. Almost got to Mark Overmars.
Bold. Oh, you felt that, Steve Bold.
Steve Bold and Dwight Yorke stayed down. Yorke is up, but Gary Lewin on with great speed and concern here.
Well, it took a huge whack from Dwight Yorke as he slid in to make the tackle and clear up Steve Bold. He couldn't stop because, as I said, he's gone to ground. He just kept going and made horrific contact with Dwight Yorke. Steve Bold doesn't stay down. He goes to ground, and as he comes through, look at that, boot right in the chest. Oh, that's painful. Oh, blimey.
And he's agitated Arsene Wenger. He had a striker, Kaba Diawara, ready to come on. He, as you can see, has just put the top back over the shirt. We don't play for as long as Steve Bold has done without being made of stern stuff.
Well, it does give us the opportunity to see two very different goals, really. That a simple tap in, Nicholas Anelka. This a beautiful cross. Well, very comfortably finished by Andy Cole.
Was he just having a look back there to see whether the flag had gone up? I think he might have been. There was some debate. You may have read after the Nottingham Forest match that Andy Cole had reached 100 Premiership goals, but in fact the list that was regarded as official had been changed because of two that were credited to Cole earlier in his career had been deemed own goals by that body that occasionally meets a Premiership panel. As commentators would love to have it meeting on a regular basis, so these anomalies could be ironed out on a regular basis and we could be consistent in giving our information to you.
Giggs.
In goes Yorke! Well, it isn't Dwight Yorke's night. He's missed a penalty, and he's missed there when a winning goal seemed to be looming large.
Well, Giggs' turn was brilliant, way out, left Dixon for dead, and when the ball comes in, watch this for a turn. There's a little touch from Andy Cole there, and well, I think David Seaman does well, because he's right with Andy Cole. He's out quickly, he looks to slide it again. It's a brilliant save. That's why Dwight Yorke was looking back at the referee. It's another brilliant save from England's number one.
It'll be a long last 5 minutes, you feel, for Arsenal. They've got Steve Bold patched up, still out there. Nigel Winterburn's had to go off. Manchester United have freshened it with Ryan Giggs and earlier Paul Scholes, and when you look at the potential, it's no wonder that they've got 93 goals this season in all competitions. Anelka. He's played well, Philip Neville, as the deputy for Dennis Irwin. Yorke. Wins it back for Arsenal. Overmars. Anelka makes his move. Overmars has got Vivas supporting on the left. Still not sure of what he's going to do. He wanted to check back onto his right foot. Stam, who knows him maybe better than most of the Manchester United players, recognised that move early and got the ball back for the home side. Arsenal retreat. Adams. Calling for handball by Vieira. Overmars, 0660, 11, 22, 33. Tell us who your man of the match is. Dixon. They're trying to protect possession for Arsenal. Hughes. And they find a counter-attack. Now the defending champions. Guard. Vieira. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Arsenal were in front, but prior to that, Manchester United had missed the penalty. Gary Neville blocking Hughes' cross. Vivas in quickly. Ian Beckham. Memories of England against Argentina. Parlour. Wouldn't expect it, would you? No.
Tired shot. They put such a lot into it, Arsenal. They've had to defend for an awful lot. Substitution being made. Diawara for Overmars.
Overmars, the score of the winner here 11 months ago, goes off. And Arsenal level pegging tonight at Old Trafford. And they'd be happy, you feel, to keep it that way until the final whistle. But Diawara, another Frenchman. A bit obvious from Vieira as it let Manchester United forward, well, not with great pace because Vieira slowed down Keane. Philip Neville. Scholes. Paul Scholes, oh, he's taken out there by Steve Bold and Gary Willard. Calls Bold across. Is this going to be a red card?
Well, I think Nelson Vivas has saved him, Mark, not only because he's getting round here, because he's in there. And I don't know if Vivas is close enough, but he's close enough to make the referee say, well, I'm not sure. Because if Vivas doesn't come in there and is 5 yards away, then Steve Bold is going off.
Well, maybe fortune favoured the Bold. Stephen of that ilk.
Well, he didn't do very well. David Beckham, first half, same sort of area.
He's due to get a free kick goal.
Now is the time to test the keeper. Ryan Giggs, does he fancy it? They have the choice, it's central, left or right footer.
It's Beckham into the wall. Oh, and a run for Roy Keane! In the 90th minute.
Well, I can only think that the spin and the ball, the slippy surface, well, it all goes to make Roy Keane slash that wide. Cuts right across the ball, Roy. They're looking for handball here from Ray Parlour. But when it comes through there, look at the spin on the ball. It's so difficult to control it when a wet ball is spinning like that. But it is another chance for Alex Ferguson's side. Well, he must feel they've done enough to win not only tonight, Martin, but maybe another couple of big games that they have to face. They really have tested Arsenal, created a number of chances, and but for some excellent goalkeeping and a penalty miss, well, his side should be winning.
He might be happy with the fact that 4 minutes is the allotted stoppage time. Giggs. Keane. Guard, the substitutes, Vivas going outside him, and the third player brought on by Arsene Wenger, far too eager to get forward. They might have created a bit more if Diawara had just kept out of it and looked. Well, a week ago we were praising Nicolas Anelka at Wembley, but for a shot that was so well struck that when it bounced down nobody could judge whether it was over the line or not. He might have become only the third player ever to get a hat-trick against England at Wembley. He's scored in a very, very big domestic game tonight. long by Schmeichel. Stam. It's given away by Hughes. Blocked by Diawara, and Stam will have to get it back to Schmeichel. 2 of the 4 minutes that we expect to be added on have passed. Bold. Adams steering it into a space. Ronnie Johnson was quickly across. Schmeichel winding up for the booming ball forward. It's back to him again.
That's the second balls they're trying to win. The majority of these coming up first time have been met by Arsenal heads. They tried a different route to Ryan Giggs, fed up getting it back to him.
Remember, if you've stuck with us this evening here at Old Trafford, there are extended highlights to come of events at Filbert Street, that Worthington Cup semi-final second leg. Fine tackle by Adams. Hughes. A minute left. Anelka. Guard showing a little bit of adventure here. Hughes, Vivas. Anelka, Keane complaining. Guard gaining possession. Dixon. What's the ambition here? Maybe caught between 2 stools whether to just keep the ball or be progressive. It's a goal kick, and time is very nearly up at Old Trafford. Well, not the win of 11 months ago, but a result that will surely satisfy Arsenal. Maybe not Alec Ferguson, but he will appreciate the momentous nature of the contest here, and very, very wet night in Manchester. Arsenal not at full strength, but they have held Manchester United, the first side to stop them winning anywhere this year. But Manchester United have scored against Arsenal and have been beyond all their league opponents since the turn of the year. They should have done it in the first half when Dwight York put a penalty wide. Then they went behind to Nicholas Anelka after a great contribution by the newcomer from Nigeria, Kanu. But they couldn't hold on to that lead. Andy Cole headed an equaliser. The gap stays at 5 points. Arsenal still have a game in hand. This was the penalty incident. Fowler ruled to have pushed Ronnie Johnson. York taking on the penalty duties, not successfully. And Anelka firing into an unguarded net to delight Arsene Wenger early in the second half. Cole wiped the smile off that face and put the smile on that one. David Seaman voted man of the match. Arsenal refused to accept a win on Saturday, but they will be grateful for a draw tonight. A final score at Old Trafford: Manchester United 1, Arsenal 1.
What a game as well. Thoroughly enjoyable, really was. Wonderful night at Old Trafford. 1-1, as Martin said. The gap stays at 5 points, and Chelsea have been held tonight as well, so very much as you were at the top, although Villa have been beaten at home. Alan Smith and Steve Bruce have been with us, thoroughly absorbed by what we've seen tonight. We'll get their thoughts in a moment or so. First of all, let's get a word with the man of the match, David Seaman, with George Gavin.
David, well played. Was that a resilient Arsenal performance tonight?
Yeah, it was great. You know, the conditions weren't the best, but you know, for us to get a goal in front after being, you know, they got the penalty, and then we counter-attacked that with a great goal, but we couldn't hang on. You know, in the end, the draw is a fair result, I think.
Patrick, did you enjoy that? Was that a very competitive night for Arsenal?
Of course, I think so. We got the good result tonight. We're very happy with the draw. It's very difficult to play because the pitch is not really good, but I think so it's very important because we did not lose tonight.
Are you disappointed your booking now means you will have a suspension?
Of course, but it's too early to think about this. We just enjoyed the draw tonight, and we think about this for the next training on.
Does that show how much Arsenal want to keep the title?
Of course, we work very hard today. I think so. Every guy gives the best tonight, and we leave Man United with a draw. It's very good for us for the rest of the league.
David, did you think it was a penalty that was given?
It was 50-50. I've seen them given, I've seen them waved away. But the guy got an head injury, and all of a sudden he popped up, tapped it right past Ray, and then went over. So he got the pen, and I went too short. Dwight was going to do the last time. He chipped me from the penalty spot. So
were you thinking of that?
Yeah, obviously I was. You know, I tried to stand up, and in the end he forced him wide.
Well done, both of you. David's man of the match, Patrick. You can give him the champagne. The Colling man of the match, David Seaman. Well played.
Always expect to keep it a drop them when they've had a stormer like that tonight and lose the champagne. Well done, Adam Dawson from Mansfield, who wins the replica jersey tonight. Now, the boys agreed to disagree at half-time. What about full-time? Wonderful 90 minutes.
Oh, it was a great game. It was a great game, and I think Andy summed it up when he said that United have had, in big games, have had a lot more chances than they would have thought they would have got before the start. So David Seaman, man of the match.
You're just saying he might never have so many against Arsenal, clear-cut chances, and not win.
You don't against the Arsenal. You know, you don't get them clear-cut chances. So when you look at that, when they've had 4 or 5 really, really good ones, that's all you can expect.
You said a draw would be a great result, Alan. They've got it.
Yeah, and I think you saw from the reaction of the two lads there, they were pleased with it. I mean, everything we thought the match might be was tremendous spectacle, end to end. In the end, it was more open than we thought it would be. And there were some great performances out there. I mean, Dave Seaman got man of the match, but both sides, you know, Roy Keane was magnificent, first half especially. Steve Bold, I thought, was a rock for them in the back at Arsenal. But a thoroughly enjoyable game, and yeah, perhaps, you know, on points you could say United shaved it, but thoroughly well-deserved point for Arsenal.
Over on Sky Sports 3, the snooker continues. Jimmy White and Peter Ebdon have just come to the table. That's the Scottish Open Snooker Championship. Sky Sports 3 now, live. And coming up here, highlights of the Worthington Cup semi-final played at Filbert Street tonight. The second leg of that game between Leicester and Sunderland. Spurs at Wembley. Who would be joining them? We'll find out after the break.
Jerry's so paranoid, he's rewriting the books.
Must have hit a nerve with one of those articles in there.
He probably is crazy.
I was right. What was I right about?
Truth.
No, I wasn't right. I was wrong. I was wrong. Jerry is very dangerous. If you hurt Alice in any way, I'll kill you.
Starring Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts and Patrick Stewart. The first showing of Conspiracy Theory, Saturday at 10 on Sky Premiere. Biggest new films every Saturday night, guaranteed.
Is my tie straight?
Good morning and welcome. We're here on the lawn with the President's speech. We anticipate that
Excuse me. I was wondering if you could tell me about these screens.
What is about to leave us, but thank you very much.
I thoroughly enjoyed
your contribution tonight, Steve. We'll see you Friday, Sheffield United and Bradford.
You certainly will.
And good luck next Tuesday.
Thanks, we'll need it.
In the replay.
Thank you.
At Highbury. Right, it is to Filbert Street that we go now. The second leg of interesting. That's next. Here's the 8th minute. Ashley Ward with the 84th minute equaliser for Rovers. Just one defeat in 13 now. Vialli and Brooms both sent off. Violent conduct. Fight is the conclusion, I think, isn't it? Everton 5, Middlesbrough 0. Barmy got 2, Decor, Materazzi and Unsworth the goal scorers there. And having taken the lead at St James's Park through Noel Whelan, Coventry were thumped by 4 goals to 1. Shearer with 2, Speed and Saha. So the Carling Premiership tonight, very much as you were for the top 3, but Aston Villa are losing ground at the moment. Leeds United closing the gap on them. Liverpool down into 6th as a result of the activity tonight. Derby 2, then it's West Ham, Wimbledon and Newcastle United up into the top half now. 3 straight league wins for them. Trouble for Coventry. Everton up into 15th, 27 points now from 25 played. Blackburn down, but a good point tonight nevertheless. Coventry down into 17th, just a point clear now of Charlton, Southampton and Forest, and those 3 have been in the drop zone for what, 2-3 months or so now? Right, 1-1 as we said here at Old Trafford tonight with Manchester United and Arsenal. Quick word with both managers, Alex Ferguson and first Arsene Wenger.
Arsene, are you pleased with the point there tonight?
Yes, because I think when Man United equalised, they had some chances after that. We were on top, I think, until we scored the goal and until they equalised, and after it gave them a lift. And the last 25 minutes were difficult for us. So in the end, it's not a bad result for us. I have some regrets because you had the feeling when you were leading 1-0 that if we kept going on and attacking, they were vulnerable. But it was a very physical game, and at some stage, of course, they had to come out.
A very competitive game, wasn't it?
Oh yes, well controlled. I thought the referee did a great job. Always going to be a passionate affair, but I think at the end of the day, I think we were the better team.
With Chelsea also drawing this evening, do you feel there's no damage being done with a home draw tonight for you?
Well, I think we obviously would. I think Chelsea would look upon that as not a good result for them. And Manchester United and Arsenal, well, it's such a tough game anyway. It's hard to call. But I think on the evidence of tonight, we were a better team. We're in good form and at the right time of the year.
Thanks very much, Alex.
Well done.
Just wondering whether Alan Smith would concede that. United the better team tonight?
Well, I said, yeah, on points they did shade it, and going forward they certainly offered more threat. You know, you can argue that Arsenal didn't have all their men there, but they still presented quite a barrier for United to break down. But they were, going forward, they were superb tonight, as we expected they would be. You know, York and Cole didn't let us down.
First half, the major talking point, of course, was the penalty awarded when Ronnie Johnson here went over.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Bruce thought it was. I thought it wasn't, predictably. I just thought, you know, it was just a brush of the thighs, and Ronnie Johnson perhaps felt that and thought he'd go down. He just had a blow in the eye and he got up and saw the ball at his feet. But Ray Parlour got booked for protesting. He obviously thought it wasn't, but Dwight York missed it. So.
Dwight York did pull it wide.
Yeah, I mean, David Seaman said he'd remembered the time at Villa when Dwight just chipped it. And I think Dwight York might have been thinking about that occasion as well. But it is a difficult one, as Andy was saying, to open yourself up and put it into that right-hand corner. But David Seaman stayed big and made Dwight make the decision.
At half-time we were wondering if Arsenal could hang on, but they in fact got the first goal through Nicolas Anelka. The creator, Kanu, who hadn't done a great deal in truth all night, had he? And then this.
Yeah, that's right. We thought he might be dragged off, but you know, he's got these language skills and he's just deceiving Jaap Stam. I mean, whereas the ball fell to Arsenal defenders when United attacked, you know, Arsenal were fairly fortunate and it ricocheted out to Anelka. I mean, that's good skill. He's not match fit yet, I don't think. We shouldn't judge him yet, but that's a clinical finish. Not easy.
Here's the equaliser. The only time that the back line got caught, Steve Bold went near Cole far. And
yeah, I mean, such was the quality of the ball. You saw Andy Cole just drift away off Boldy's shoulder at the last minute. I really don't think there's a lot anybody could have done about that. You know, Coley had quite a few chances, but he wasn't going to miss that one.
So what are we left with then? What's our conclusion after that?
Well, it's pretty much as you were, I think. You know, we felt that if Arsenal hung in with a point, it would be a good result. I'm sure Ferguson's disappointed that he couldn't put one over on Wenger's men while they were down, as it were, with a couple of men out. It still looks like 2 or 3 horse race. You know, Chelsea slipped up slightly, but United looked strong.